How surprised are you by this move by the U.S. government? I mean, 300 million, that's essentially one for every member of the population. They're really placing a massive bet on this.
Yeah, they're placing a massive bet, but I don't think it's going to be their only massive bet. You know, the U.S. Congress gave an unprecedented amount of money to the Biomedical Advanced Research and Development Authority to do just this. The U.S. government is basically saying, we're willing to invest some money and lose it for a vaccine that ends up not working if we can take a bet and place on one of the ones that does work and it advances the ball by 3 or 4 or 5 months down the field. So I think this is not going to be the only one. I would suspect they would look at these types of investments and add to potentially some of the other investments to really try to get those doses ready so that if we do get a product that can reach emergency use authorization by the FDA, does show some efficacy, we can get it into people sooner rather than later.
Chris, where is the U.S. relative to other countries in terms of vaccine development candidates and funding so that American people will get the vaccine? Because, I mean, this is a global issue.
No question it's a global issue. And the U.S. really has something that's unprecedented globally. BARDA, the Strategic National Stockpile, Project BioShield, all these programs don't really exist in a lot of other countries. You've seen some international collaborations with entities like CEPI and Gavi and others, but really the U.S. is a leader. I think the U.S. is placing a lot of money. More money is likely to come. More than $10 billion was appropriated by Congress for these types of things. You've seen them spend about $2 billion total out of it. So I think there's a lot more room to grow, and I think that's encouraging. Now, with that being said, if we were to get a vaccine before the end of the year, that would be unprecedented speed, and the assumption should be for most Americans, you're not going to see it in 2020. It's probably at least a 2021 issue. But every step forward is encouraging right now. And the government's, despite all the failures with testing early on, seems to actually be doing the right thing on vaccines.
And Chris, for the question we always come back to about how much this actually means in the end for the companies that successfully produce the vaccine. I mean, AstraZeneca stock has had a good start to the year. It's only up 2% or so today, despite, eliciting this huge amount of money from the US government before even completing the vaccine. I guess the UK listing of the stock did close higher than that. But would you have expected a bigger reaction than 2-3% higher on this news?
Well, I think the data over the weekend brought some questions into that. So I think that presented some headwinds. With that being said, I think that any progress we're seeing is good. But the assumption for whether it's the treatments or whether it's the vaccines, most companies are saying they're not looking to get rich and make their year off of these vaccines. They're doing it for a public good. They're going to cover their costs. They're going to make some money when we get out of the pandemic, potentially. But right now, they're really looking to be effective partners and are viewing this as a global investment for the global community. And I think in the U.S., by putting the 300 million doses and putting the money up front for that, we'll end up making sure the U.S. is in line if this thing ends up working.